Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the 3D Critic channel. Today I'm going to give you guys my performance review on the Puma Scoot 02s. Now the Puma Scoot Zero was a very solid shoe at a budget price. The traction was very good, had a reliable grip on the floor. Cushioning was very average in my opinion. It had a decent response and bounce, but it did feel bottom heavy at times. Materials felt pretty comfortable, but they are on the cheap side of things, but it makes up for it with the aggressive styling that you get from the shoe. And the lockdown and support got the job done as well. It got very nice support, and I was pretty balanced inside that shoe. So I was curious to see if there were going to be any improvements in the Scoot 02s. Now, starting off, they are retailing for $110, which is a $10 uptake compared to the first Scoot Zero, where they retail for $100. So if you guys are interested, they are available on Puma's website, and I will leave a link in the description box below. So when it comes to trying them on, they are quite tight initially, and you do have to open up the laces so that you get your foot inside the shoe. So it is an absolute necessity to space out the laces, that way you can get inside the shoe in the first place. As far as size is concerned, personally, I would go down half a size to get like a very nice 1-to-1 fit. Initially, when I did that, it was very nice and snug. A little too snug to the point where my toes felt a little numb when like the first day I played in them. So once you break it in, it does start to open up a little bit. That way it's like an accommodating fit, but you don't move around as much. And as far as length goes, it is pretty good. It goes directly into the top of the toe box, so you're not going to have any dead space as far as the length is concerned, and you won't experience any sliding as far as hard stops is concerned, when I will talk about it later in the lockdown section. So yeah, as far as sizing goes, I would go down half a size. For narrow footers, you should probably do the same because of the width of the shoe being really wide, and because of that, for wide footers, I would go true to size as a result. So as far as narrow footers, go down half a size, you should be good to go. However, for wide footers, go true to size and you should be good to go. Now, getting into the traction setup, you're going to get this full-length rubber outsole with this vertically designed herringbone traction pattern that has these circular pods spread out throughout the outsole itself. And as far as how it grips, it is pretty good, but you do have to rubber them in because initially you are going to experience some sliding because of the hardness of the rubber. And once you do that, lateral movements, they felt pretty decent at the end of the day, so I was able to be nice and quick going side to side with a little bit of sliding here and there, but it got the job done at the end of the day. However, when it comes to vertical movements, because of the herringbone lined up vertically, you're basically going to excel. With any vertical movements, such as stopping on a dime, you're pretty much going to get instant hard stops in these, and you get a quick get off, so you're going to have a nice quick first step as well. Moving into a dusty condition, it does pick up dust, however, but it does wipe off pretty easily. So every now and then, once you start sliding, just wipe it and you're going to be good to go for like a handful of plays, maybe a little more depending on the court condition that you're going to be in. So frequently wipe them down and you should be fine because it doesn't stick that much. Durability, it is good. The rubber is hard enough to a point where it's pretty durable, and it has a deep, thick groove so that it will last you a good bit. The only sign of wear I have experienced is in the high wear areas where it is fraying a little bit, but I hardly notice it from a first glance. So you should be good to go outdoors in these. Just be mindful that it is a little bit on the softer side of things, because once you rubber it in, it does start to break down a little bit, and it does tend to get used to the floor and get the friction going, and it does soften up the rubber a little bit once you break it in a little bit more. So at the end of the day, it is a nice, reliable traction setup. Just be sure to rubber it in and wipe it down because it does pick up dust. And as far as outdoor use, you should be good to go on these, and at the end of the day, it is a good, reliable traction setup. Now, moving into the cushioning setup, you're going to get a full-length nitro foam midsole, which is a huge difference compared to the Scoot Zeros, where it was just a pro foam midsole, and the results are drastically different in my opinion. In the forefoot, it has a nice response under your foot, and you do get a top-loaded shank that is nice and rigid. That way you get like a nice springboard-like effect from it. So as a result of that, they are surprisingly bouncy as well. So as a result, they are far more lively compared to the Scoot Zeros in my opinion. So you're going to get a little more pop in the forefoot cushioning, and in the heel, they are pretty comfortable as well. There is decent compression in the heel, and they do feel quite soft when it comes to the overall feel of the shoe. There is some stiffness, that way it doesn't feel too mushy, but they are pretty comfortable nonetheless. And as a result, impact protection felt really good as well. So it is very nice and very lively when it comes to the midsole itself. And as far as fluidity goes, they are pretty fluid at the end of the day. Heel to toe transitions feel nice and smooth, and you get a nice snap because of the shank that you get in the midfoot. It adds an additional snap under your foot. That way you get up to speed very quickly, and it feels very lively with each step that you take. So yeah, at the end of the day, it is a little similar to the Lamello 4s in my opinion, but it is not as comfortable with the heel cushioning, and it is a definite improvement to the Scoot Zeros in my opinion, because you get a more lively lively experience as far as forefoot cushioning is concerned, and you get more bounce as a result. Now, diving into the materials of the shoe, you're going to get basically a bunch of textiles here in the forefoot with a little bit of mesh here on the Puma logo, and you're going to get some more of it on the medial side of the shoe, and you get more textiles here on the back half of the shoe with a little bit of padding here in the back. The tongue itself, you do get more mesh padding, and you do get a little bit of padding here on the top, along with a little bit of padding that you can see here in the heel. And in terms of comfort, they are pretty comfortable. It molds pretty well to your foot, and it feels very nice and conformed to your foot. Feels like it molds to your foot very well. So as a result, didn't experience any irritations here in the forefoot, and didn't experience any irritations from the midfoot itself. The padding in the back is minimal, but I didn't experience any discomfort as far as the overall comfort is concerned. Aesthetically, they are very aggressive when it comes to its design. Maybe a little bit more aggressive compared to the Scoot Zeros in my opinion, with a more aggressive look that you get on the Puma logo, and as well as the look of the midsole itself. It has a little bit of an aggressive look. I don't like the material quality of the textiles because I am starting to experience some scuffs here on the textiles in the forefoot, and I don't understand why these leaflets are here on the top of the lace line. They look pretty cheap, and they're pretty much useless as far as what they are used for. So it's kind of window dressing, and it wasn't really necessary, so I didn't really like that. And I'm starting to get a little bit of wear and tear from the tongue material itself. It is starting to peel from the top of the tongue with the glossy material that you get, so that is kind of a bummer. So over time it is going to start to peel off, and when you tie them up, the top of the tongue does scrunch together, so it doesn't look very good and is going to start wearing over time, so that is not really a good look. And yeah, that's basically my only gripe of the shoe. The material quality is not there, but it does look really nice as far as the aggressive styling is concerned. A little bit more aggressive compared to the Scoot Zeros in my opinion, but at the end of the day, as long as it is comfortable, it will get the job done. It's just that over time it will start to wear down and it won't look as good over time. Now, moving into the lockdown, to me, I thought they were just adequate at the end of the day. In the forefoot, because of the one-to-one fit basically that you get, you're not going to experience any sliding as far as vertical movements, hard stops, things like that. And the lateral movements, you won't experience any shifting because of the snugness of the shoe itself. Moving into the midfoot, the cabled lacing system goes all the way up into the middle of the midfoot, and you do get a little bit more lace pressure. That way you can get a little bit more containment, so it has a nice wrapping feel on both sides of the lateral and medial side of the shoe. Moving into the heel, however, there is a good bit of heel slippage because there isn't a lot of padding and sculpting in the back, so you are going to experience heel slippage here and there. So as long as you tighten them up a little bit more, it will contain a little bit better, but just be mindful that you're going to experience heel slippage here and there to a point where it is kind of noticeable at times, but as long as you tie them up really tight, you aren't going to experience it that much. So at the end of the day, it is adequate. As far as forefoot, it is nice and contained. Midfoot as well, it gets the job done with the cabling system that you get, but you are going to notice the heel sliding out every now and then because of the lack of padding and sculpting that you get in the back. And last but not least, as far as support is concerned, they're actually pretty good for the price that you're going to get from this shoe. Firstly, as far as lateral supports, it ticks everything that you need in terms of lateral containment. Firstly, the slope midsole essentially gives you the main base of the lateral support itself because you sit within the midsole, so you're going to get some decent containment from the midsole, basically in the forefoot with an outrigger to boot with that. And as you move further into the back, you're going to get more containment from the midsole going up a little bit into the midfoot, and you're going to get a little bit more foam here in the back, as well as a really stiff internal heel counter. So you're going to have basically solid containment from front and back as far as lateral support is concerned, so you won't experience any rolling on your ankle. And with the outrigger, you do get a little bit extra containment as far as lateral support is concerned. For torsional support, it is very good. The top load shank that you get is really nice and stiff, so you're going to have really nice rigidity in the midfoot while retaining a little bit of flexibility here in the forefoot, so that I won't feel too stiff when you are playing in it. So you're going to have really nice balance and flexibility at the same time. And the base of the shoe is nice and flat, and it is reasonably wide, so you're going to have a nice wide base to land on, so that you won't have any worries coming down on your own 2 feet where you're trying to get rebounds and stuff like that, which is a huge plus for me because I like to get a lot of rebounds every now and then. So yeah, as far as support is concerned, it is very good. It ticks all the boxes as far as lateral containment is concerned. Torsional support, it is nice and balanced, and you get a very wide base to boot with that. So to sum it up for you guys, this is a solid improvement to the Scoot Zeros in my opinion, mainly in the cushioning department. To me, in the Scoot Zeros, I found them to be reasonably responsive, and it has a nice bounce, but it wasn't overall comfortable. It was just an average setup at the end of the day. But in the Scoot 02s, the nitro foam is a lot more lively and more bouncy, so you're going to have a little bit more energy under your feet, and they aren't as bottom heavy compared to the Scoot Zeros where they felt like bricks under my foot. So yeah, a little lighter as far as the cushioning goes. Traction, basically copy and paste at this point. Materials, they are cheap considering that it's only 110 bucks. I'm not that surprised, but lockdown and support, it does get the job done with the support and doing all the work. So it is a nice solid upgrade compared to the Scoot Zeros with a $10 increase in the price, which is worth it in my opinion, considering that you get a more lively experience when it comes to the cushioning itself. So yeah, at the end of the day, it is a very nice budget shoe, a very solid backup with whatever shoe lineup that you have. So if you want a cheap shoe at a reasonable price with reasonable performance, this is a very good shoe to buy. Thank you guys for watching this video. This has been my performance review on the Puma Scoot 02s. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video and comment down below on what you think of the Scoot 02s. Are they good when it comes to the Scoot Zeros? Are they improvements to the Scoot Zeros? I would like to know your thoughts on that, as well as any other questions that you might have. If you'd like to stay up to date with future videos that I'll be posting, hit the subscribe button down below, and it will greatly support the channel as well. And if you also want to see my review on the Scoot Zeros, I will leave it on this corner of the screen right here. And if you'd like to follow me on social media, all of that information will be in the description box below. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I hope this was beneficial to you guys. And until next time, keep shooting.